Well, viewers, the top story today. Karnataka's Congress magic formula of 5 guarantees might have really helped them come to power. But it has been a thorn in their seat ever since. In the latest, Karnataka Law and Parliamentary Affairs Minister HK Patil has admitted that his government has been burdened by these guarantees. Though he did not claim that something is wrong, he did also mention that Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has been carefully maneuvering through these obstacles. This has once again put the spotlight on the 5 guarantees. The Congress had promised to implement the guarantees in their first cabinet meet. The immense pressure and the burden that they put on the state exchequer meant that these were rolled out in phases. In fact, Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar at one point even ruled out funds to the MLAs for developmental work for this current financial year, stating that the poll guarantees will be top priority. Now, with HK Patil's latest statement once again highlighting the financial complications triggered by this freebie culture, questions arise over such electoral gimmicks and formulas, whether they're actually good for a state. We'll of course debate this with a panel of guests. Before anything else, let's listen in to what Mr. HK Patil said. Well, before we play that out, let me open this up to our panelists. And meanwhile, of course, we'll get that soundbite ready for our viewers. Vijay Prasad from the BJP is with us today. Shatabi Shivarna from the Congress party joining us as well. Maya Sharma, senior journalist with us. Let me open this up with the Congress party. Well, it seems like, Shatabish, you don't need the BJP to keep reminding you that, the guarantees are, burdening the exchequer. Time and again, it's your own leaders. Sometimes the MLA, sometimes the minister, sometimes the Deputy Chief Minister himself. And today it's the Law and Parliamentary Affairs Minister. Shatabish.
Deepak, firstly, I think the 5 guarantees were a great poll promise. And are we burdened? Unfortunately, we are burdened. The state government of Karnataka is burdened. But what are we burdened with? We are burdened with the adverse economic policies implemented by the central government. We are burdened with the stepmotherly treatment by the center to the state of Karnataka. We are burdened with the unnecessary excessive loans made by the previous BJP dispensation. We are burdened with the lack of job opportunities and growing unemployment amongst the youth of our state. We are burdened with the rampant corruption introduced by the BJP. We are burdened with drought due to less rainfall. But amongst all these burdens, with a limited budget of 3,25,000 crore rupees, a whooping 66,000 crore rupees has been allocated to our guarantees. And one must understand, what is the purpose of introducing these guarantees as our poll promise? The purpose was to address the difficulties faced by women and youth of the state of Karnataka. And let me just give you some statistics as to how successful these guarantees have been. Over 100 crore free bus travel by women under the Shakti Yojana, 11,200 crore to be released and given to women under the Griha Lakshmi scheme, 1.56 crore families benefited under the Griha Jyoti scheme, that is the free electricity. Annabhagya has been a great success. Yuva Nidhi has been implemented as on today. We have put an end to rampant corruption. Crores of new investments have been coming in, which are leading up to thousands of job creation. And is this not enough? And please understand the mindset of the BJP. First, they call the poll promises and the guarantees as a sham. Then they say it cannot be implemented. It's impossible to implement. Thirdly, they say implement it, but implement it efficiently. Fourthly and lastly, they introduce the very same guarantees as PM guarantee in the 5-state election. Heights of hypocrisy, don't you think? We are not burdened at all. We are doing this in the interest of the state.
We'll keep the BJP aside for a moment. We'll keep the BJP aside, Shatabish, for a moment. The only concern that I have is you spoke about multiple burdens in the state, including flood and several other issues. The question here is, why aren't your ministers talking about these as burdens? Why do they keep bringing up the guarantees being a burden? You have every month you have 1 or 2 MLAs who are talking about this as a burden. You have ministers time and again commenting. The question here is, if this is actually a burden, if it is causing a financial stress, how is it going to affect the state in the long run? Or is the vision only for 2024?
No, don't you think 60,000 crore rupees that are being doled out to the public of the state, do you think that is a burden? Do you think it's not benefiting the people of the state in any manner? Do you think it was just a freebie or a gimmick? This is real
What's
money.
The ripple effect of it, Shatabish? Because if your ministers are saying it, there seems to be some concern. Because this is not the first statement we are hearing, Shatabish. This is not the first statement.
No, see, I would completely deny with any statement that is being made that the 5 guarantees are a burden. We are facing several burdens, and it is a problem that is faced by every government. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. And despite all this, have we stopped development? Development is going on. We are introducing a knowledge, health, and innovative
Deepak,
research
this is the
city in
biggest
the
joke of
outskirts
the
of
day.
Bangalore. We are providing startups, elevator startups, where there's a lot of investment coming from
Okay.
outside.
You're
to
saying
the
the
state of
5 guarantees are not a
Development
burden.
is happening.
You're saying the 5 guarantees are definitely not a
No,
burden.
not at
So
all.
let's listen to
Definitely.
what the minister said. Just hold on. I'll
ನಮಗೆ
come back
ಭಾರ
to you.
ಬಿದ್ದಿದೆ. ಆದರೆ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳ ಚಾಣಾಕ್ಷತನದ ನೀತಿಯಿಂದಾಗಿ ಯಾವುದೂ ತೊಂದರೆ ಬರದ ಹಾಗೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನೀಗಿಸ್ತಾ ಹೊರಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಒಬ್ಬ ಮನೆ ಯಜಮಾನ ಅಡಚಣೆಯಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾಗೂ ಸಹಿತ ಹೇಗೆ ನಾವು ನಿಭಾಯಿಸ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಬಹಳ ಅರ್ಥಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ರಾಜ್ಯವನ್ನು ನಡೆಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
Bhara biddide. That's what he opens his statement with. I'll come to Vijay Prasad now.
Deepak, just because, see, HK Patil does not have any other option just to sing pains favoring Siddaramaiah. Does he have any other option? Singing one's own praise. See, he opens his statement by saying that, yes, all the 5 guarantees is a burden on the exchequer. See, ministers after ministers, MLAs after MLAs of Congress, they keep on saying that, okay, Congress, this 5 guarantees is a burden. Just because they accept that this 5 guarantees is a burden, they are trying to wash off the hands. They are trying to think that, okay, they are doing a very great thing for the people of Karnataka. No, they are not doing the people of Karnataka. See, Congress is not accepting the financial distress what the Karnataka is facing now. If HK Patil says Siddaramaiah has handled the financial situation in a very shrewd manner, he says Chanakshatanadinda, then why did Siddaramaiah had to go to PM and ask for funds? If he is so shrewd in this financial acumen, if he so very well handled the financial situation of Karnataka, then why did he have to go to PM?
Well, whenever there is a drought, Mr. Prasad, whenever there is a drought, it is a norm that the state seeks help from the center as well.
That's fine. See, I don't deny the fact that, okay, there will be some center's help is also required. At the same time, you see the arrogance of their ministers after coming back from Delhi, the way the extravaganza they show in their airplane, in their charter flight, how Zamir Ahmad is saying. And yesterday, Shivanand Patil says in his one of the functions saying that the farmers of Karnataka they try to expect a drought every year so that they can claim compensation from the government. And he is the same minister who went on to say that the farmers commit suicide just because to claim compensation from the government. See, this is the mindset what the people of Karnataka is not going to understand. And this is what the Congress is living in. They are living in the fool's paradise.
Okay.
And just because they accept that, okay, it's a financial burden,
Okay,
they are trying to think that, okay, that this is everything is hunky-dory. No, everything is not hunky-dory. See, at the same time, the same Congress government has tried to swindle the SC, ST, TCP funds of 11,500 crores. And see the events that happened in Belagavi. People making the school kids to
okay. Coming to the point, the issue here is that these are question marks that are being put forth by their own MLAs, by their own ministers. If I could bring a timeline that my producer Saksham has put out from June, we've had a circular from the finance department where they've said that the other schemes should take a back seat. The 5 guarantees is the one that should be accommodated as priority. Then in July, we had CLP meetings and some letters that were written by MLAs. That was to Chief Minister Siddaramaiah that, they didn't have funds that were coming in. Ministers were not responding to them. Then Mr. D.K. Shivkumar's statement itself came in. This was again in the month of July. And he says that, yes, there is going to be, as of now, a crunch when it comes to funds for development. In August, the entire issue began that funds were diverted from the SESTP funds. Then you had in October, They said that just 14% of the funds were spent due to last mile challenges that they said. And we've seen again during the assembly as well, this issue was raised in the supplementary budget. The Chief Minister has promised some sort of funding for the MLAs. Maya, I'd like to come to you. When you look at the series of events, when you have these comments that are coming in from ministers, from MLAs, is there a cause of worry here really for the people of the state? Or should they be happy that these 5 guarantees are benefiting a large number of population?
Well, really, it must of course be remembered that it is the MLAs who are bearing the brunt of any complaints in terms of any promises they may have made over and above these 5 promises of the state government itself. It is the MLAs who are facing the people on the ground who say, but what about this? What about that? Particularly local issues, which the MLAs may have promised would be resolved. They may not feel so much the need to cater to what the state government has promised because, okay, the government is in power now, the Congress is in power now. Those promises were made definitely in order to win the election, and the promises have to be delivered on because, of course, that big 2024 election is coming up. So the MLAs, of course, would be feeling the pressure. They would be feeling definitely that they have to be able to have funds for things apart from these 5 schemes, because the benefit, the goodwill for these 5 schemes will go to the government itself, maybe not to the individual MLA, and they also want to keep an eye on their own constituents. But of course, it so much depends on the point of view, depending on the party speaking, depending on the standpoint, whether it's an election gimmick or a freebie, or whether it's a genuine welfare scheme. Siddaramaiah himself has gone on record pointing out how similar promises were made ahead of these 5 assembly elections held recently. And it certainly didn't harm what the Congress's chances in Telangana by repeating some of those promises, very similar to the ones made in Karnataka. Yes, most certainly those 5 poll promises did help the Congress government come to power in Karnataka. And it's hugely important ahead of 2024 to keep their act together for that purpose ahead of that election. And the MLAs are the ones, yes, facing the questions on the ground.
And when they are facing these questions, they are going back to the Chief Minister time and again. Every CLP, this issue comes up. Very recently in Belgavi as well, when the CLP was held, the biggest concern that they had was lack of funding, Shatabish. So, for your own MLAs, for the sake of developmental work, yes, guarantees are helping a large number of people, but parallelly there has to be development that needs to go on. There needs to be roads that needs to be constructed, new schools need to be constructed, dilapidated schools need to be fixed. Aren't all of these issues that need to be tackled by the government as well? Or are you going to say that the people who are getting guarantees should be just happy with it because that's going to be a priority?
Deepak, before the Congress, the guy.
Why is he interjecting? It's my question.
Hold on,
Let
Mr.
me
Vijay
answer.
Prasad. Hold on. It is his turn to comment. I'll come back to you, Mr. Prasad.
Firstly, I thank you for acknowledging that the 5 poll promises are benefiting a huge population of the state of Karnataka. Yes, I mean, out of 3,25,000 crores, a whooping 66,000 crores is being utilized for the purposes of these guarantees. And to put DK Shivkumar's statement into perspective, he says that the 5 guarantees is our first priority. And we assured the people of Karnataka this priority. And after realizing that these are the problems that they face on the ground, and the people have reflected on it, and they have voted us into power. And I don't even want to bother rebutting the BJP's statements or his points. If he thinks the guarantees is such a burden on the public exchequer, why did they introduce it in their states as PM guarantees? The very same schemes, Ladli Behna and whatnot. And he speaks so casually about the drought situation in the state of Karnataka. Why did Sidhu have to go? If the 25 MPs elected from the Bharatiya Janata Party had gone to the Prime Minister and their party in the central government and had requested for this drought relief, there wouldn't be a necessity for us to go. Yes, development is a problem, and nobody is saying that development is not happening. We are getting investments from foreigners. We're getting investments from everywhere. Let me just point out, Boeing opens their largest innovation center outside US in Karnataka, and it spans over 7,75,000 square feet. Isn't this creating job creation? Isn't this creating, giving crores of new investment? We are introducing a KHIR city, and government of Karnataka has partnered with Games 24/7 to introduce a pioneering acceleration program. Development is happening. Congress government
Let me
in the
respond
state of
to
Karnataka
some of
is
this. Well, Mr. Prasad, you know, some of the points made by Shatabish, he's talking about how parallelly they are doing enough for the state. Are you convinced? Because as the opposition, the biggest grounds that you have been raising time and again is about, you know, the state being affected, the people being affected, the exchequer being burdened. But Shatabish believes that it's not the case and it's being handled very well.
See, as I told Deepak, they are living in fool's paradise. Okay. See, now
So
they.
why did you
the Congress
introduce it
spokesperson
in the
blatantly-
5-state election? Please
No, no, no,
answer. Why did you introduce the same guarantees in the
Shatabish,
5-state elections?
I did not intervene when you were
No,
speaking.
why did you
Please
introduce
have
the same
patience.
guarantees? Please
Patience.
answer a
Please
simple
have patience.
question.
Please have patience.
Simple
Please have
question.
patience.
Why did you introduce
Deepak,
the same
no, no,
guarantees
no,
in
no,
a
no.
different
Please
name
have patience,
as a PM
Shatabish.
guarantee?
No, I did not.
Okay, Mr. Prasad, go ahead.
The problem with Congress is, see, they are claiming just on in front of camera saying that okay, development is happening, investment is coming into Karnataka. Can you give us a list on all the companies that have invested in Karnataka in the last 6 months? Can you tell me what all the developments that has been taken in the last 6 months? Their own MLAs are claiming that they are not getting a single rupee even for the repair of the drainage system. Forget about the infrastructure. Forget about the capital investment. They are not even getting the money for their road repairs. Their own MLA is claiming. See, in the last 6 months, we have made at least around 60 protests against this government. If they have done anything for the betterment of the Karnataka, why did we have to protest? Why did we have to protest? And at the same time, as I said, they have this Siddaramaiah government. They have 140 personal deposit account with the deputy commissioners of the districts, laying around over 800 crores unutilized. Why not even a single rupee from that PD account has been released for the farmers' distress, for the drought situation, for overcoming the drought situation? Why are they not commenting on that? See, HK Patil and the Congress spokesperson, they talk in such a way that everything is rosy in Karnataka, everything is hunky-dory in Karnataka. No, absolutely no. The Karnataka state is in distress today, financial distress, drought distress, power distress, and law and order distress. You name everything, the Karnataka is in the total mess today under the nose of Siddaramaiah government, under the nose of Congress government.
Okay, very quickly, I want to get some closing comments from Maya as well before we wrap, because I think both sides have summarized your points of view. Of course, it's for the people to decide how they really view these sort of statements that are coming in from the ministers. Maya, a few closing remarks, please.
Well, absolutely. The Karnataka government, yes, is under pressure because it has made these big promises and it has started delivering on them. Most of the schemes are in action. The final one was inaugurated today. So there has been progress made. Whether this is money taken away from other schemes, well, that will come out in the wash. It'll come out finally when the next budget is presented. But these are important schemes and schemes which have been welcomed by the people. The people, in fact, the only complaints they really have is it's not happening fast enough, or some people are being missed out. So that way, certainly the Congress would be happy that the schemes they promised are being welcomed by the people. It costs money. It's easy to make promises at election time. It's much, much harder to keep those promises with a limited budget. And the BJP, the opposition, is of course not losing that chance to really attack the government on that front. Making it more awkward, of course, the Congress MLAs saying it's very hard. This is really hard. If we're focusing all our money on these promises, the poll promises, what do we tell our constituents? But it is a work in progress, and it's certainly something the Karnataka government will try to keep together until the big election next year. That will be their focus, to make sure it looks at least as if the promises are being delivered and being delivered well without compromising development.
Absolutely. I think that's where the Congress is focusing all its energy on, that there is a lot of perception that's built that the guarantees are reaching the people, and it reaches most of the people as well. So the focus somewhere seems to be completely on that. Now, while of course Congress is right on its part that the BJP too has seemed worried how the guarantees have worked in Karnataka, they've tried to replicate it elsewhere, but it hasn't really worked for them. But overall, with these sort of statements that's coming in, one really grows apprehensive about how it may